Hey, good evening. It's Friday, January 12th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. Tonight I'm going to begin looking at this topic of friendly fire. Get into it in earnest tonight. It's going to take several videos because it's such an important topic, and there's no easy answers to it. There's a basic root cause, and we're going to start looking at that tonight, but it's very involved, so I'm going to take some time with it. Friendly fire just means weapons fire coming from your own side. In other words, when the good guys take out the good guys. That's friendly fire. So the question then, more directly, that I want to consider is, why do we fight with those we love? Why do we fight with those we love? That's the struggle that we have. I think that probably causes many of us the deepest upset, the deepest frustration, the most hurt. As I said, the application and working through it is rich, multifaceted. We need to spend some time. But the basic core problem is actually a very direct one, a very basic one. Let me read from James chapter 4, verses 1 through 3. We're depending heavily on portions of James chapter 3 and this section in James chapter 4. So James starts right out, verse 1. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You want something but don't get it. You kill and covet, but you cannot have what you want. You quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. And when you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. Now, we're not going to look at all this tonight, but this is the answer of why we fight with those that we love. I'm just going to look at verse 1 tonight. What causes fights and quarrels among you? It's the question we're asking. Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? We are people of desire. That's not all bad. Some of it is very, very good, but much of it is very, very bad. But this touches on the most basic aspects of life. Life is about relationships, knowing God, knowing each other, loving God, loving each other. That's the core of relationships. And relationships are fueled or driven by what we desire. And this is the key. Relationships are fueled or driven by what you and I desire. And as I said a moment ago, that desire can be one of two things. It can be a very good desire to bring honor to God, to add to his reputation, to glorify him. Or it can be, at root, a desire to serve self first, which is a disastrous choice. The word for desire in the New Testament is a Greek word, epithumia. And that word for desire is a word that what we call colorless. The meaning is totally connected to the context. So, and we're going to look at that in just a second. But this desire, the fact that we're desire driven, what that basically means is that we are people designed by God to make choices. You and I are people designed by God to make choices. Adam and Eve had a choice to make in the garden. You and I have choices to make every day. This capacity to desire is built into each one of us. It's one of the things that makes us distinctly human. This desire, as I said, this word epithumia, can be either good or evil based on the orientation of the heart, which is why I spent several days looking at the heart and the heart's desires. So check that out in the last few videos. This desire could be a very good thing. Psalm 73, verse 25. Who do I have in heaven but you? and I desire nothing on earth but you. That's a very good desire, a very healthy desire. Jesus, when he was wanting to eat the Passover with his disciples, in Luke 22:15 says this, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. I've eagerly desired. It's this epithumia word, the same word. Very positive. Jesus desired it, so it's got to be all good, right? Not necessarily. The word itself is not always good in context. For example, Ephesians 2, verse 3. All of us also lived among them, God's enemies, at one time, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. So here, desire, that same word that Jesus says, I've eagerly desired to eat the Passover with you. Here, we're gratifying the cravings and desires of our flesh. And then we come to our passage here in James tonight. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? So why do we fight with those that we love? At root, we make a choice to desire wisdom from above and bring honor to God, or we make a choice to desire wisdom from below and bring honor to ourselves. And that's in James 3, and we're going to be looking at, I've got playlists on this. You can check it out if you want, but we're going to be looking at this in detail as it pertains to this section of James 4. Wisdom from above results in desiring to know and understand where someone else is, where they are in their struggles. Instead of getting mad at them, I'm desiring to know more about them and then asking, how can I show the love and mercy of God that has been given to me? That's wisdom from above. Wisdom from below results in desiring to evaluate what's going on based upon what I think is best, not deploying God's wisdom, but deploying my own wisdom. It's a trap. It may seem very logical, but it's a black hole that sucks us in. We're going to explore deeply why we engage in friendly fire, but we have to start here. We have to start with acknowledging that our battles with those that we love are the result of choices that we make, not the circumstances that are around us, not their wrong, boneheaded, sinful actions, not how hard my situation is, but they start with a choice. Am I going to deploy wisdom from above and have my desires to be what brings honor to God, or am I going to use wisdom from below and have my desires make sense to me and bring honor to me? And say it's not much application, but that's where we have to start. Again, love your feedback, thoughts. Important. I think it's an important series for us to look at. Again, looking forward to hearing from you, and Lord willing, we'll be talking to you tomorrow. You have a great evening. Good night. Thank you for watching. May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.